It's important to create. It's indispensable to innovate because the world needs change makers, leaders. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I, Shreeya Katyal, welcome you all to today's talk. I'm standing at Asian Law College, and today I'm in conversation with a very intellectual person and a creative person who's a perfect amalgamation of intellect and creativity. I'm going to talk to Shri Salman Khurshid Alam Khan sir and going to know about his journey.
I wanted to do law for a long time. I applied to Oxford and I got in St. Edmund Hall. I was a student of English till then, but when I got opening for law at St. Edmund Hall, I went and I never looked back. I did one degree, then I did a second degree, and then I taught for 3 years. And then finally came back to India almost 10 years later. When I came back to India, I did a brief stint with the Prime Minister as an OSD, and then switched to law, and since then I've been a lawyer.
What made you choose law? What are those things which one person should look into himself or herself to get into this field? Like if suppose I want to be a lawyer tomorrow, what are those qualities that I should look? Am I suitable for it or not?
Well, I think that if you're essentially a bright person and you're willing to work hard, you can become a good lawyer. Essentially, what you need to search for is, are you looking for independence? Are you looking for a person who's not stuck tightly within a system, which is what you do if you have to do a job. You could do a job even as a lawyer. I mean, you could join a law firm and then you would be doing a job. But you always have an option to step out and then be on your own, be a litigation lawyer, be on your own. So if you're thirsting for independence and you like a little bit of theatre and you enjoy performing in front of an audience, and you have some killer instinct of a chess player, because that's what you need to do with a judge sometimes, then you're ideal for a lawyer.
So that means that we should have a flavor to break those boundaries. Like we should have that thing to think out of the box and not follow what is already there, to design our own concepts.
Yes, yes, certainly. I think one element for a lawyer is that you should be willing to create. You should be creative. I mean, you can be an artist and be creative, but an artist that is creative can be doing it all by herself or himself alone. But for a lawyer to be creative, you have to be interactively creative. So you have to create while you interact with judges, while you interact with the other lawyer, while you interact with other people who are doing similar things. So you can be creative, but you are creative in an interactive mode, which is different from an artist.
Exactly, very well said. So now one question that comes to my mind is that as we talked about being creative and thinking out of the box, breaking the barriers. So here sometimes what is seen by the eye is an illusion, which is not always correct. So in that case, how verdicts are decided? Like what you can see by your eye is always not correct. There are other sides to some stories as well. So touching on to verdicts, judgments, how do you decide in that case, in that situation?
Well, a judge is essentially a trained human being. We as human beings make judgments all the time. And by our upbringing, there is some element of training. How do you tell truth from falsehood? Every person can. But what a lawyer does or a judge does is they train themselves specifically through the process of training as a judge or training as a lawyer that allows them to sift the truth from falsehood. That's how your decision-making happens. It is no different from decision-making of an ordinary person, except that it is accentuated by training, your ability and your capacity to sift the right from the wrong. As a judge, you're supposed to be aloof. As a judge, you're supposed to be objective. And the ideal judge, in a sense, may well be a computer. But the problem is, and maybe when artificial intelligence happens, a computer could then decide cases. But in deciding cases, there's ultimately a little element, the empathy element, which is a human element. A machine can't do what a human being can do. And I think that will always remain a factor.
That is indeed very important because, first of all, we need to be good humans. Last but not the least, a very important question that is, you are an author as well. So, I would like to know that how creativity supplements your profession, like how to balance it. Law is in itself is a very taxing job. So, how do you manage those things?
Well, I think that really depends on how passionate you are about creativity. Sometimes you get creativity out of law. I mean, there are some great writers and authors. John Mortimer, for instance, he was a QC in the UK, who wrote a television series, who wrote several books on incidents and manner in which courts decide cases. There are some outstanding writers of drama. You've seen 2 films recently of Jolly LLB, for instance. Now, obviously, these are inputs of somebody who actually practices. So there is a lot of theatrical material that you can get out of legal practice and put into pure theatre. And similarly, there's a lot in theatre that you can bring into legal practice and make a thundering appearance before a judge. Law is the finest training that a human being can get in becoming a fulsome human being. Your ability to tell the right from wrong, your ability to judge causation and responsibility, your ability to look at areas that are technical and perhaps far away from law, but your ability to analyze, assess, and absorb is something that you can be provided through legal training.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for sharing your experience and blessing us. Thank you. I'm sure that you gained a lot of knowledge and you are definitely going to apply it in your lives as well. That's all for today in today's talk. I, Shreeya Katyal, sign off for the day, but I'll be back with another amazing celebrity guest for you. Till then, you keep watching MSTV. Har pal aapke saath.